Today we are here to take a look at your favorite topic, idioms, the key to help you sound like an English pro, not just a textbook. I'm here to reveal 4 common mistakes about learning idioms that are holding you back. And also after this video, you can watch my last week's video about how to learn 1 idiom every week. So stick around, now let's get into it. The first mistake that we are going to talk about is trying to learn many idioms at once. You know, when you are trying to learn too many English phrases, expressions, or idioms too fast, it's like eating a whole cake in one bite. It's overwhelming, right? When you overload your brain with lots of information, it can backfire. Seriously. Your brain needs time to analyze, digest, and understand each of these idioms. So instead of that, you can focus on only one of these phrases at a time. It's like taking small bites of that cake. You know, everyone's learning pace is different. Some of you guys might need more time to process and learn a new idiom, and it's completely okay. And some other students might pick up things faster, and it's perfectly okay too. You know, the thing here is to not compare yourself with other people, because as I told you, your learning style and your learning pace is completely different from other students. The key is to understand your learning style and how your mind works. If you need more time to absorb, understand, and remember a new idiom, be patient with yourself. When you are learning at your own pace and in a way that you really enjoy, you can see a great progress in mastering English idioms. I have talked about the solution of this problem in my last week's video, but right now I recommend you to focus on only one of these idioms or one English lesson at a time. I know that most of you guys want to learn a treasure trove of idioms, and it's fantastic. But remember that this is not a race. This is a journey and you have to enjoy it. The second step in learning and remembering new idioms is writing down their definitions after writing the idiom. Don't get me wrong. Understanding the meaning and the definition of each of these idioms is the first step, and it's so crucial and necessary. But it's just the beginning. Once you get it, once you have understood the meaning of that idiom, you don't need to keep writing down their definitions, because our main goal in learning new idioms is to use them in our speech, in our daily life speaking. And the next time you look at that idiom, you can guess their meaning. You know, it's like a brain workout. When you're looking at that idiom and you're trying to recall and remember their meaning, your brain would definitely remember it faster. Instead of constantly reading their definitions or their meanings every time you read that idiom, you can guess it. Why not? So it helps your brain remember it much faster. All you need is the idiom. That's it. That will do. So I recommend you to only write the idiom alone. You only need to know their exact meaning and some examples that reminds you of the meaning of that idiom, and after that you can keep making examples for yourself, and you only need to look at that idiom, because when you do that, it highlights that idiom. Your brain would definitely remember and recall it faster if it only captures the idiom in your mind. Memorizing idioms from a list. When you try to learn idioms this way, it's like having lots of snacks and not eating them. When you are having a list of 10 or 20 idioms, you might remember their meanings, but using them in your real-life conversation, I don't think so. Reading new idioms, listening to new phrases is so helpful and essential, but this is not the end of the story. After reading and listening to them, you have to use them in your writing or your speaking. When you keep using these idioms in your examples, in your English sentences, it helps your mind to recall them faster. You know, having a list of English words, English phrases, or English idioms can be useful and handy, especially when you want to prepare for a test or an exam that you only need to know the meaning of that idiom or that English word, and you don't need to use them in your sentences or make any examples. So in this kind of situation, when you only need to know their meanings and that's it, it's great to have a list of words, idioms, or phrases. But when your goal is to use them in your daily life speaking, to improve your speaking skill, this won't be useful anymore. It definitely takes time, and the patience is your best friend in this journey. And the last but not least is 1 week is not enough. So when you have decided to take it slow, to only learn one idiom or one English lesson every week, that sounds a great plan. There is going to be less pressure on your mind and less information to remember, and it's perfect. But let me ask you something. If you spend a day or a week to practice and learn a new idiom, and after that you won't review and practice it anymore, do you think that would be enough? You're likely to forget it quickly, right? Because you won't review it anymore. And after a month or after 2 months, you will completely forget them. So the point here is to not spend only 1 week on an idiom or an English phrase or even an English lesson. After you have learned the idiom, you have to plan to review each of these idioms regularly. Think of it like this. Have you ever had a favorite phrase that you have used it a lot in your daily conversation? For example, I use the phrase "that's lit" too many times in my daily speaking. So after 2 or 3 times of using this phrase, I will get used to using that. So this is the sign that I have finally learned and remembered that idiom or that phrase without even thinking about it. Let's say you have learned a new idiom, like "it's a piece of cake," alright? And you have practiced this only once in your speaking. Like, "I enjoy driving my car. It's a piece of cake for me." It means it's so easy for me, right? So you have only used this idiom once. If you say making only one sentence is enough, no, that's not enough. You have to keep practicing and making lots of examples in order to remember each of these idioms. If you won't practice and make sentences with that idiom anymore, what would happen? Do you know? That idiom will disappear. You won't remember it anymore. So the point here is to practice them regularly. Try to use them in your daily life conversation in order to see a great result in your speaking skill. Okay guys, that's a wrap. I just talked about 4 biggest mistakes in learning new words, idioms, and English phrases. If you know some other mistakes, you can tell me in the comments. So if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video. If you have some other questions, you can ask me in the comments. I will read all of your feedback and answer your questions. So yeah, that was it for today's video. I'm so happy that you have watched this video so far, and thank you for watching. So yeah, that was it for today's video. Have a nice day. Bye bye.